people know.
You probably won't with Weaver and Coddle in the game. I don't see Pango's. I think pretty close to. If you can put on core, you're gonna put on core.
Yeah.
And I think for this team, Polaris in specific, I think they're too confident with like this diffusal mid Pango to like not put it mid. And T1 is just sticking with. Honestly, I looked at their games from like 2 weeks ago. They were kind of losing with. They're sticking with it. Cuckoo's gonna play as Dragonite. They're playing their Treant. It's a very T1 draft.
And that's what you're worried about, right? When we were talking about them before the series started, that they weren't going to really try and reinvent themselves or to try out some new things.
It makes me feel like during the 2 weeks since the last tournament they played, which was actually the Pro Series, right? That they have not probably played very much, right?
Oh, okay.
So they're probably just like picking the heroes that they have played, right? Because they haven't really played anything new. And I'm just like guessing at that. Because it makes me feel like it wasn't really working that great for them before. Did they scrim for it for 2 weeks and make it perfect? It doesn't look like it to me. So they're probably just sticking with what's comfortable going into this.
We got a Gabby Morphling. That's always hype. That's super hype, actually. Love to see him on his Morph. One of the best.
Is this now a thing that they're hoping Comfort is going to sort of carry them through it? Just looking at how these two lineups are matching up before we get to the last picks?
Morph is a response to the TB and the offlane Pango. So it's just a pretty good Morph game overall.
Do you know how Morph stacks up against heroes like TB now that there's no E-Blade build anymore?
It's still a high magic damage burst carry. So it's always going to be decent. I think carry versus carry matchup, TB pretty much wins most all of them, right? Because he's just TB. But Morphling, the high magic damage is good unless you're going like a Drow option that can pierce the armor. You just don't want to do like physical damage against him. So they saw the Pango as well. Morph is pretty good versus Pango. He can get away from the roll pretty easily. If he is laning versus Pango, it's a pretty easy lane for Morph. However, they don't have to put this Pango against him. They could just put a mid, and they could pick. I think generally, I mean, Odie is a great ban for them to protect it, but Zoo is also another good way to deal with the Morphling. He doesn't like playing versus like Beastmasters and stuff like that, which could be really good this game.
Oh god, that'd be super scary. They have like quite a lot of ways to take like Roche on Polaris right now between Pango, bugs from bug armor from Weaver, and like they could just commit meta to it.
Also a really good AA game if they want to be crazy.
Oh god.
AA offlane. I mean, it's good versus all four of those heroes.
Yeah.
They're just a little low on the stuns, which I don't want to see them do. That's kind of like a meme suggestion. But I know some
Hell
people.
no, I'm all in on this one.
When some people see the morph, the offlane player's like, maybe should I play AA offlane? I don't know, guys. That sounds fun.
Dude, AA with Colin lanes, man, they just throwing projectiles left and right.
Lord.
Legion Commander.
That one's not particularly good versus the morph, but it is good versus a Treant Protector. Can get rid of the DK stun. It's pretty good for like saving purposes. And buff up TB. He's just gonna get the Legion with Ags.
I think
classic.
It's mid Legion maybe. Or actually no, I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. But Luke played both of these heroes in mid in the because I was literally just thinking this is the type of lineup that they played against Nigma Galaxy. This is like pretty much exactly the same. I remember looking at lineups like this and going like they have no damage. They have like barely any like good stuns. Like what are they? This is such a weird lineup, and they play so patiently and slow like and well. And like Lelouch just does things from the mid lane, and then they managed to hit their win condition. Like their TB gets strong enough. Like in the last series, Natsumi was playing Medusa instead. Medusa TB, basically the same sort of thing going on.
They play similarly.
You guys talked that Polaris, they're a bit of a unknown bunch. They can play things anywhere they want, but to other unknown people, well, they're actually not that unknown, are they? It's Lyrical and God. I think most people would know them.
Who is this God's person?
Wait, who's that No, I'm joking. But I want to hear your thoughts, and if you guys think T1 have sort of done enough, potentially, Gods, to win this game number 2.
I think they've gone back for like their comfort, their bread and butter. Like they've got, Cuckoo and Doom. They've got I think much more just safer, well-rounded draft. I think ultimately, though, the big thing that needs to change is also going to be their play, because I don't think game one just came down to draft. So I hope that, the comfort heroes are going to give them a bit more confidence to play a bit more aggressive when they need to this game.
Do you think it is going to be enough, Lyrical?
I think so. I when I was like halfway through the draft, I was like, I don't know about this Polaris. They stole their DK. That was the combo that they did before in that matchup that Sheep was talking about, was like the Coddle DK thing, and they took a while to pick there. So I felt like they were already on the back foot, and I don't know. I'm hoping that we see the Morphling Ag Scepter against the Terrorblade. That'd be sick, but if they do that, they win definitely.
Well, then the question that I pose before we do head into this game number 2 is, I've asked it before, but who's going to be gold lead at 15 minutes? One team.
TB. Yeah. Oh, you mean the team?
I meant the team, but okay, that also works for me. We're going to leave
TB
it there.
will
TB will win. Just purely TB. 1v9.
Just one
but
TB.
Jumping into game number 2, so GoDz and Lyrical, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Nat. Yeah, and I kind of agree that Terrorblade's a spooky guy. But you were talking about like the comfort of the T1 heroes, and I got to imagine that like they're going to be kicking themselves a little bit. They know they messed up that last game and coming into this one with some fire.
Yeah, people joke Marshall, he'll bring out the whip. He's going to look to get him back into shape. I think T1's a team because of March that bounces back from losses really well. But obviously that's to talk a lot about what T1 is going for. I think with Polaris, this TB is going to give them this hero to really play around in the mid game, because they are this team that plays the lanes usually a bit slower, but when TB hits these item timings, he's the perfect hero to push around, to take objectives around Roshan. So, I don't think you can just play too carefully if you're a T1. At some point, you're going to be put under a lot of pressure and forced to sometimes defend some of your towers.
Absolutely. And, that's what the tree is going to be all about, right? Trying to make sure that Zephyr can do it. I do want to see if Zephyr plays like the more aggro version with like Leech Seed, Nature's Grasp maxed out early on. It feels like there's some value there, particularly playing against the Terrorblade. That could be pretty cool. But we'll have to wait and see.
I'm a fan of that build. I don't... Doom is such a passive hero to lane with that maybe you just have to go Living Armor, though. But
yeah,
we'll see. Zephyr does manage to secure the bounty rune, winning the right-click battle.
Well done. That's 2 apiece.
Yeah, no surprises with these lanes. Again, Polaris love these 4 positions for Xavius, the Shadow Demon, the Coddle that can stack a lot. He's going to be annoying with this Boots Coddle, just super fast and zoomy.
Punching away and being a bit annoying, and of course throwing in the taunt. You'll love to see the carousel ride. There's got the tango going. It's going to be interesting to watch also, as up top here, they're already going to start trying to put a little bit of pressure onto Natsumi and doing whatever they can to shut him down. The creep that I feel like if they do manage to get it is like winning so many lanes is the Mind Stealer nowadays. That's the one, like with all the mana regen, and like you can sort of enable your treant to spam out waves too. So we'll see if he gets lucky with another creep here as well.
Yeah, maybe the treants build that you mentioned. There's different ways you can go. Depends on what neutral he ends up getting if he can play his lane more. But particularly when Metamorph is on cooldown, they can definitely fight back against this lane. But when meta is up with the Weaver, I just don't think they can really contest here. So far things looking a little bit tricky with this first Metamorph usage.
Whitemon, he's got a couple creeps here. I don't know where these things came from, but battling it out as you can see up top there again. Cuckoo dropping fairly low, does pull the creep wave back over. Not the easiest time in the world. It might need to just eat a creep to get some of that extra value going. Yeah, gets the armor already out of the gate, but well, reflection, right clicks, taking a good chunk of damage there, but the body blocks coming in from Zephyr should be enough to keep Cuckoo from dying.
That treant reflection illusion was ginormous.
Yeah.
Like half my screen.
Yeah, that's a little wild. He's gonna give a little salve up afterwards. Yeah, Zephyr hitting himself pretty hard.
I don't think any big surprises with how these lanes are going. I'm curious to see, next Metamorphosis. I think we're gonna have to see T1 play very cautiously up here. They don't have the best way to kind of disengage, and if Weaver gets like bugs on them with some TB right clicks, heroes will melt there.
I can't let you have that.
Mid lane, bit of a farm fest. Don't really see anything too crazy happening here.
Yeah, it's definitely like up there around the Metamorphosis timings, or I guess potentially if like there's a bit too far forward pressuring coming from force Xavius, they can get caught out of position or something. But it seems like it's going to be unlikely as, well, another round of the reflection and giant shadow tree coming in and punching Zephyr a bit. Super annoying.
Scary, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, as far as these lanes go, I think it seems like the biggest duel has been between Xavius and Whitemon. Whitemon's constantly chasing this Coddle around, which is, you know, something kind of tricky to do. This Boots Coddle with 375 movement speed is definitely been pesky, but Whitemon just trying to get up, stop some of these stacks from happening, and make sure that, you know, his carry gets the free farm. He's more than happy to leave Gabby in a 1v1 against a Legion commander just because Morphling can trade so efficiently.
Yeah, the wave is going to be pulled all the way through there, and you can see Whitemon still trying to contest Force a little bit as this is going on here. Farming underneath the tower will be another wave coming in. Yeah, Gabby, happy to be there.
Yep. Yeah, both carries just getting their free farm for the most part. Natsumi getting his farm under his tower. Gabby, same thing. Don't really see it change too much. It does feel like the offlaners are not having the best time, both Doom and Legion. Struggling a bit, which, you know, Doom will always catch up, so I don't think he's too concerned, and maybe concerned. Okay, has to TP out.
Yeah,
will be okay.
There.
Smart from Natsumi, didn't actually commit Metamorphosis, so he still got it for when Doom comes back to lane.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So this just sort of sets him up to have some pretty good success, and Cuckoo having to walk all the way back out there. We saw Carl doing a really good job laning here against Lelouch as well. He was able to get a couple of range creep denies, but it's still a slight level advantage. One that way is Xavius, chased a little bit by Whitemon, is just going to be able to walk away from this eventually, though. Only level 1 on the DP still.
Yeah, it's just been solo XP for Morphling, which I guess Morph is level 5, a full level ahead of Legion, so seems okay. I don't. Yeah, you want your death prop to hit level 6, but I don't think their strategy is. It's not like it's like this level 6 playmaker. It's like this. Okay, you get level 6 and you can push a tower, but they're not in any rush to take these towers and objectives.
Good job there by Zephyr to come on in and push back the pressure from Natsumi. As, yeah, they, like you said, not in any serious rush on the side T1 there. Get those objectives taken down early. And, in fact, should be able to, with the tree armor, eventually keep the towers alive pretty effectively. And it's still been a bit of a rough laning stage for Cuckoo. He does eventually go and find that mana or a creep. And, well, Natsumi gets first blood. Stuck around a bit too long in lane as Zephyr.
Yeah. Again, he held onto that Metamorphosis and had it there for the kill. It wears off at the end, but finds that first blood on a tree and Protector. We did have the two supports. Once again, Whitemon and Xavius is juking it out around those stacks, trying to get some wards down, block some camps from being stacked up, but he's already got a double and a triple stack, so he blocks the camps almost like a little bit too late here. And that's something I think Xavius saw him block, so he's going to likely be bringing out some sentries. Yeah, he is bringing out a sentry to deal with this.
I don't know if I've seen another team put so much emphasis on stacking up this jungle constantly. It's it's just like a single-mindedness. It's pretty impressive.
Xavius will quickly learn that both camps were blocked. I think he maybe thought just the Ancients were blocked, but we had to get those D wards out. And like, yeah, it really is a key part of Polaris's game plan every single game. Like that is his role in this 4 position is, you know, a little bit secure your off lane, but more than anything, anytime you have free time, you're stacking.
Yeah. Well, and they block it again. So as soon as they come on in to go for the D ward, I mean, this is the answer, right? If you're just going to put so much emphasis on it, we're going to come in and contest. Yep. We'll see if it comes back to haunt them at all or not. As Force here runs into Whitemon and is just going to back away afterwards. No fear really at all from the level 2 Death Prophet.
None. At this point, he's probably just like, you know, if I die, I TP in or rotate like a Pengalier or something. You know, I'm a level 2 Death Prophet. What does dying really matter? Your respawn timer is going to be like 10 seconds or something. So, yeah. Not an issue at all. Mid lane Lelouch is pretty low here. He's not going to die to the DK solo unless he really messes up. But the big issue is he's not defending his tower potentially. So Carl should be able to get some free damage on this tier 1 tower.
Xavius coming in to try and stop this. Only has the 1 point in Illuminate. So it looks like that might be enough to keep Carl back, at least for now.
Yeah.
And that'll be good for them. As Carl couldn't get that much damage onto the tier 1 any at all, actually.
Yeah, very passive laning stage. And this seems to, you know, at least from what we've seen in this series as well as the NGX series, favor Polaris. This is how they like these lanes to go. Just stack it up, play the economy game, and then they, you know, they strike and hit hard in the mid game around that kind of 15 to 20 minute stage is where they really try and suddenly take all your objectives and force some fights.
And Zephyr here is just soaking up experience. He's been healing up from all those stacks, getting his experience up already just about level 4. But still, it's Natsumi that's getting complete and total free farm right now while they try and go and get some more D wards. Whitemon comes on in to break the stacks yet again. Yeah. Because that's what he does. And roll. All right, they want to get a punish. And Whitemon is going to get found. Oh, but the neutrals, the stacks, they come back to haunt you.
I'll teach you to stack.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what's crazy about this player team is, like, you know, we talk a lot about Xavius, and he is the one stacking the most, but every time I look at their carry Natsumi, it feels like he's farming a stack in the regular jungle. Like, it's usually not like the 4 and 5 stacks that Xavius is doing, but there's always a double or a triple stack that either he's made himself or that the 5 position that Mavis has made. So just constant efficiency coming out of Polaris.
Very, very crisp and clean gameplay, as the panel was talking about. And on the other side, you know, T1, they're still getting farm on all of their main cores, and they're like, okay, you know what? You go for this like super greedy style of just non-stop farming, we're gonna do the same. They take the Doom, they're going in for the Midas. Like, it looks like they're gearing up for the late game as well.
Yeah. Historically, this has been one of T1's kind of go-tos. Like, let's Cuckoo Doom and just play super farm heavy, you know. Oh, DK mid.
Oh, nicely played. The slowdown, but it's not quite enough. Is he going to go down, though? Couple more punches. It will be final touch for Whitemon. He gets that kill.
That's nice for them. They'll get some chip damage on this tier 1 mid. Don't imagine players let it go down with how much they love to value protecting their jungle and their side of the map.
Yeah, it's really hard to like fully commit to this when you've got, I mean, so many heroes around from T1. I don't know how they defend this, actually. They're going to try and pull the creep wave past, but with nobody else here, the Pango coming in a little bit too late, they might be able to finish this one off. But now the tower's actually hitting Carl. He's still tanking through it, though.
He's going to just animation cancel time to get down to deny range, so it's, you know, effectively dead. It's like one of those, like, they probably just have to deny it. They don't really want to, so they're going to keep it up for now. Because this T1 tower is just so important for playing this farm game that Polaris are so good at.
You can see here again, they're going to pop Metamorphosis another time. Mavis throws out the bugs to help them clear through it faster, along with Lelouch in the area. And clearing through that entire stack, currently top net worth. Yep. For the Terrorblade. Oh, and this is the other thing. The Chakra Magic to lower the cooldown, Conjure Image, and Metamorphosis, so you can get it more often.
Yeah, it'll just keep spamming out. There's like less value, I think, with some of these like really long cooldowns like Metamorph, but it's always still good. And hey, you can just keep using it. So, and Natsumi is very happy. And TP's a hero that kind of has. If you're spamming those illusions, you have mana problems. Like, it's not your aggressive chakra combo, but it's a farming chakra combo.
And if they want to play aggressive with it, that's where you go with Lelouch on this Pango, who's trying to get towards that diffusal blade. And
oh yeah,
become very difficult to deal with very quickly.
Yeah, it's those like swashbuckle, shield crash, like 8 to 10 second cooldown spells where you really feel the value out of having a, 6 second cooldown reduction from the chakra magic. So we'll see T1 now. They're feeling pretty confident. They go from the mid T1 tower now up to top, pushing with the siege wagon. I like what we've seen out of Carl so far, and this is all pre-blink dagger, so they're going to have that playmaking potential out of him with the Blink Dagger fairly soon. Although I'm not really sure he's got the best heroes to play around. Like, Doom is, FaZe Midas farming it up. His supports are more like teamfight centric rather than like looking to go for ganks or kills. But we'll see if he finds a way to make this Blink useful early on.
Yeah, the ways that I guess we've seen some of them do, some like good damage is with getting into that shard pretty quickly afterwards. But it's a question of like, will it be quite enough damage with these heroes that like don't really want to go in with him at the same time?
Yeah, DK shard is so much damage. It solves a lot of what this hero's problems used to be, where it's like, okay, you go this blink BKB build and you do no damage at all. Now it's like you just get an extra. It's like you get it is a fit spell and it does crazy damage.
Yeah, and particularly against the Terrorblade, that's kind of cool, right? Like you're going to be burning down those illusions super quickly. So Natsumi going to need to watch out and definitely tank up pretty quickly. Immediately going into the Manta style afterwards. But you can see 2 kills in 13 minutes. There is one thing on these teams' mind to do is farming up.
Yep,
that's for sure.
To the viewers who don't often tune to SCA Dota, they're probably like, "Huh? I heard this isn't what I heard SCA Dota is all about. What's going on, Lyrical?"
I know they just want to they want to win really really badly, and they don't want to give up. They want to take the perfect fight. I mean,
absolutely.
It's weird, right? Because I feel like so much of these like mid-game fights determine all the rest of Dota right now, right? Like if you get rolled early in the laning stage over, so it feels like maybe the response is, all right, we're gonna play super safe, so that way we don't take a bad fight, like happened last game for T1 around this time.
Oh yeah, when they're defending their tier 1 safe lane. This time around, they're not sending cores. Zephyr's here. If he dies, you don't care. Like that's the support just delaying any push kind of thing. He's even showing himself as if like, hey, come and waste time chasing me in these trees. So,
but look at this. The wraparound, Carl's there. They find it. Stun right at the start. Lelouch looking to turn. This is an awkward place to fight, but the great overload afterwards. Will it be enough? The Doom is there. They take down the Pango and force getting rolled. The Whitemon, is it going to be quite enough to find the final touch? And it looks like it will. So they bring down 2 and maybe going to be able to find a 3rd as well. Why not? T1 come back strong in this game too and bring everybody.
Yeah. Super sick from Zephyr, because as soon as they blinked in with the DK and stun, the counterplay from Pango was he was going to instantly Rolling Thunder and look to at least make it like, you know, a fight where they stood a chance. But once he gets cancelled by the Overgrowth, their entire team fight is just gone.
Really good stuff there coming from T1, and just like that, all the tier 1 towers are completely gone. And Polaris, they're going to need to come up with some answers, but I don't know if T1 are going to give them a chance. They're just looking to roll.
And we're about to hit the 15-minute mark. This is probably one of the biggest changes of the patch, really, is this 15-minute Ag Shard. The fact that there are some heroes who hit a really big power spike with it. You mentioned the DK. He's going to instantly buy it. 15 minutes in, he's got a new spell.
God.
And he is going to pack a punch with this and use it to just farm out waves, whatever it may be. But this is definitely a big indirect buff to the Dragon Knight.
Lelouch does manage to pick up a kill onto Zephyr, which is important. That's cutting off this like early blink dagger that he was going for. That obviously, you know, you saw how amazing that Overgrowth was in the last fight. But it looks like now with Tree dead and Natsumi showing up, this should finally be the tier 1 tower taken down bottom.
Yeah, I think no defense inside here with all these ultis down, Doom as well as the Breathe Fire. So I'll let it go. It's not like the biggest tower to really worry about losing, though.
Just keep on looking at this fireball up top and how enormous it is when they lay it down on the Dragon Knight.
It's such a big AoE. And then, yeah, had the damage buffed as well.
It's crazy. Let's see if he drops it down here. I think he's just going to farm it up. Because that is the other thing, is like kind of running low on mana. That can make use of the Soul Ring and like Wand as well. But yeah, there it is. That's ridiculous.
That's I would not call that a fireball. Like what I know from, you know, growing up with different fantasy stuff, shows and D&D, that fantasy ball is like a small projectile.
Yeah.
That's like a fantasy fire. That's like a fire lake or something.
Yeah. Well, they are in towards mid. A lot of illusions trying to whittle down this tower, but with the tree armor on it, it's not the easiest thing in the world, and gonna give up, push out the farming up the rest of the jungle instead. I mean, in spite of all of the tier 1 towers being down right now for Polaris, it's still less than 1,000 gold lead. But you got to imagine that T1 are gonna try and put the clamps on this soon.
Yeah, and they're kind of all in on this TP's game. Like, they've got the offlane Legion, who's very underfarmed, whose job is just going to kind of turn into buffing up the TB, because he's not got any dual damage. He's not scaling as a core. You know, a bit surprised. He hasn't... he's got the Solar Crest build up, so we'll see how that goes as far as just a way to buff up TB. But, you know, unfortunately, Legion is not really what it used to be when it comes to the Ag Shard change. So, you know, no more free BKBs.
Dire's top tower
It is not quite as devastatingly overpowered as it was before, which I'm actually somewhat thankful for. But nonetheless, it looks like Polaris is still looking to find an opening there. But with everybody retreating away from that tier 2 tower, they might have to set their sights either back towards mid or possibly just trying to farm again.
Yep.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately...
Ooh. Jumps in. Good save.
The press.
Thought about using the ulti, but retreats away.
The tricky thing for Polaris is going to be, like, they can maybe keep this TB alive a little bit, but he's going to be getting everything thrown at him. The Doom, the Overgrowth through, potential BKB later on, if he ever goes for that. All they have to do is stop this TB because he's going to probably be the only one dealing damage as this game goes on.
And obviously, it's what Doom is very good at. Shutting down that one hero. Polaris, they did see with this really good ward placed in between the tier 2 towers on the bottom and mid. A really good opening there. But Gabby, oh no, they missed the roll. But the duel afterwards, okay, enough. Will they be able to bring it down? This Morphling, super tanky, has the waveform afterwards. Just guys go for the TP out and will end up dying. Not sure if there was something keeping them there, but nonetheless, finds the kill, much needed.
He definitely had the waveform for like a second, maybe, and then he had his mana burn, so...
Yeah.
But thought he'd wave to the low ground or something there, and they don't catch the Doom, who's still working on a BKB, getting very close to it. But yeah, Gabby dying. This is, this is the kind of game where it's on Gabby to kind of win them this game. Like, they'll do everything they can to Doom the TB and, land their teamfight spells like the Overgrowth and hit the right heroes with Dragon Tail, but Gabby needs to make the right moves to keep up in farm, but also in these team fights in order for T1. It's not a done deal that they can just win this game by shutting down TP and fights.
Regeneration.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. And some of this again is like the really good vision placed down by Mavis. His ward was up there, and that was what caught sight of the Morphling going over and farming that direction. So good vision leading. Oh, that would have been bad if they lost to Philly there.
Yeah,
Mavis able to come back in and sneak it away. But yeah, vision always so important to setting up the right fights.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And so both teams will kind of just posture around their vision right now. Man, you can see T1 just sentries everywhere, just trying to do what they can to de-ward their jungle and basically protect the fact that they feel like they've got the better late game. And I think on paper T1 definitely do. Playing Doom against like a single core in TB, you've got Morphling and DK, two heroes who can both scale pretty well. Not to mention Doom, like late game Doom, you start looking at Shivers, Refresher, all that. So longer this game goes, I would favor T1 more and more.
Oh, and interesting. Cuckoo, he took the Hellbear. So he's got the death throw power. So if he dies in these fights, he's going to be giving that 50% base damage buff to his Morphling. That's kind of interesting.
What's the AoE? 700 radius. Huh.
I mean, it's pretty small, but yeah.
It's a lot of damage.
It is? Oh, good smoke break.
Yeah. Instantly cancels the blink 2 force, recognizing that just go stop that blink. And T1 will not follow this up. This is that kind of key time where both teams are going to be looking for that good catch, whether it's a single hero pickoff or a smoke into a team fight, because Roshan is up and both teams will kill Roshan pretty damn fast with their current level of farm, so any kind of an edge they can get. But right now, 4 kills to 3 at 21 minutes, less than 1k gold lead. Something needs to happen soon, Lyrical.
I know, what the heck? Gotta get after it. Well, they did see Gabby down bottom, so that might give them a signal to try and go now. Whitemon, they're trying to break smokes, and Lilish is going to see it. Oh, good play by Whitemon to be over on the other side of the cliff. So they bait out the Rolling Thunder, and Polaris, they just need to get out now. And an immediate smoke from T1. This is their moment.
They're gonna fight. Bengo, I think Lelouch knew he was maybe pushing his luck with that last wave, so instantly blinks away after farming it, but they can kind of... I think they can be super aggressive here for your team. When you got a DD rune on Morphling as well with Lincoln's BKB, it's go time. They either need to take Roshan or force a fight here, and if Polaris are going to... They want to dodge every fight, and I think that's why this may just end up being a Roshan. It is a little bit risky going into Roshan, but...
Gabby separated from the rest of his team. Forces there as well. They walk forward immediately, and Mavis taking so much damage. Time-lapse back up in 5 seconds, but he manages to get away, and Natsumi takes a tower while this is happening. Now the call is maybe go to Roche as the DD is wearing off. Are they going to be able to take it? This is awkward.
Yeah, and they're going to... It's like the Roche pit's kind of like this risky place where they can get the jump on you, and enough time's been bought. Rolling Thunder is back up. They're so unsure what to do. Do we Roshan? Do we do something else? They've committed exorcism now.
Oh, waveform through. Gabby takes a lot. Cuckoo can't find an opening. The rest of Polaris is sort of in the area, but do they want to fight? It's being brought down super low. They got the bugs on everybody. They see absolutely everything in this. Illusion's starting to go out first. T1, they got to back out. Roche even wants to get up close. Dude, this is wild.
Polaris just played the last minute like to absolute perfection. Like the Rolling Thunder, like from when they used Rolling Thunder and didn't get any kills up until it coming back off cooldown was played perfectly. Like they pushed out the waves, they avoided the smoke, they just constantly, you know, if they completely showed on the other side of the map, T1 would be like, okay, they TP'd away and ran away, let's just take Roshan for free. But they stuck around just enough without getting picked off that they prevented Roshan from going on by throwing out bugs, by throwing out illuminates. Like that was just perfect play from them.
Yeah, and Dragon Form got popped, so they don't have it now for the rest of this fight. And while that was going on, Natsumi like was able to still farm the triangle as well. Yeah. So like they're still getting all that stuff working. Natsumi beating away at Roche now, and are they going to come and try and contest this? Cuckoo has BKB ready to go. This still could be okay if they can find that Doom. Meta's now out. Do they want to fight this here? Looking for the jump, wanting to go. Rolling Thunder in. Who they find? The BKB already there, but the Aegis is already on Natsumi, and now Cuckoo is in complete no man's land. Dual victory. The first one for him is Whitemon. Gonna get caught. Gonna get killed. Polaris just looks so good right now.
Yeah. And they found themselves in the position that T1 was. Okay, the enemy just used these big, important cooldowns. Like, there was no DK Dragon Form. There was no Exorcism. And the difference was Polaris, Roche was down to like 20%, so they could just walk in and finish off Roshan, and they have better heroes for a fight inside the Roshan pit. A little bit of a tiny little mistake there from Lelouch. He blinked and didn't actually blink inside the Roshan pit like he intended, but he still found his way in there, made sure they secured Roshan. You know, Cuckoo's going for like some heroic Aegis steal there, but there's no real hope of winning a fight. He's just hoping to steal an Aegis, and you can't rely on BKB against the Jewel, so, you know, I think for Polaris, that was good, but like everything that led up to it was what was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, that's being able to sort of still maintain control of an area without the like spells to do it. Yeah, nuts stuff. And I mean, I don't know. We're on the verge here. A 4,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. This is a little bit scary. I mean, we've talked a lot about like the late game potential that T1 has, and they're definitely, you know, still got it. But this was like the double BKB timing. It felt like so much was going to sort of be working for them, and the fight just went the way of Polaris.
Radiant structures are fortified.
We'll see them start mowing down some towers, I imagine. Like, you can't really rely on living armor now when TB's metamorphos up. He's got the Grove Bow as well, fantastic item. And once he's got Lincolns, it gets a lot harder for this Doom to approach these fights. He's going to be praying for some kind of neutral item that can break Lincolns. They didn't get any kind of Fade Grenade, I don't believe, so it's going to be a little bit tricky when it comes to getting that Doom off.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You know, you're also getting like more and more of these items that are just about like making Natsumi big, right? Lelouch is also going for the Lotus Orb afterwards, right?
Nice.
So everything for their Terrorblade, who is now at 18,000 net worth, 5,000 ahead of the next highest on the enemy team. And Natsumi keeps on getting the Chakra Magic cooldown reduction for all this stuff. Ready to go. What's the answer for T1? I mean, do you just need to dodge and wait out this Aegis at this point?
I don't think they 100% have to. If they've got this, you know, pretty scary team fight, if they can get Doom on a key target. Like, I don't actually have to Doom Terrorblade necessarily. I wouldn't. I mean, if they got vision, they can fight around it. You can see them there. They're kind of posturing in their jungle. They're not just playing keep away, despite the fact there's an Aegis in the game. They're actively looking for that next play.
Yeah, triple BKB. You would imagine that T1 want to like make use of these right now, but it's not easy. And the tier 2 tower starting to drop, and Natsumi still hanging on. Metamorphosis is back up now if he wants to use it. They're going to use the glyph. Breaking Lincolns.
Yep. See if they look to follow up and go in on this one. The tier 2 being Chip would get them that Aegis steal. They get the stomp on, but this is great set from Polaris. They just know they stuck the TP in the front lines. They're not going to want to commit any Doom on him when he's got an Aegis, and the way T1 approaches and wins a fight is going on the back lines. They're trying to use this vision to see these supports or heroes like Legion and Pengo, and they find Weaver.
This is a pretty good one to start. Great silence afterwards from the DP on to the Legion. Now Natsumi trying to go toe-to-toe against Gabby. Gabby has to back out of there. He is starting to drop quickly. Does have the waveform afterwards, and Sunder used Cuckoo trying to get away, and they run him down for the kill. A double for Natsumi. This is meta used. And what more can they get from it? Not sure. There's no creep wave here, but backdoor protection is also gone, so it goes on up and starts hitting away at the tier 3 tower. Why not?
Yeah. They found the Weaver, but Cuckoo just couldn't find anyone to Doom. The only hero showing in that fight was like this TB on the front lines. After Weaver died, everyone else just plays behind the TB and fog.
Unreal. 8,000 gold lead, and again, with so few kills and just all really good map movements, Polaris have looked absolutely fabulous here as they take the melee barracks and gonna head on back out again. They still have a minute and a half left on this Aegis. We'll see what they can do with it, but T1, they gotta come up with answers quick because it is not looking great for them right now.
Yeah, and it just seems like they decided to try and fight greed with greed this game, knowing how Polaris like to play with all their stacks and, you know, play for the late game. But they're showing, even with this change in style and approach to playing against T1, it's against Polaris, it's still Polaris who making all the right moves and just understanding how and when to fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because like in a lot of ways, it feels like this lineup with a Doom and, you know, Midas on him. They've got like all the fighting items that they kind of want now too, but it still feels like they just can't take the right fight.
Aegis Lincoln's TB on the front lines is just not a target anybody wants to go on.
Reflection immediately takes off that one with the Manta from Natsumi, and Gabby can only kind of send on out these Conjure Images version of trying to be the better Terra play, but it's not working. Man. Another tower taken, and the lead continues to grow. And the other thing that you've got now is the freaking recall coming in from Coddle. So send one back and then bring them right back out afterwards. Now has the gem.
The game will change now with Aegis because getting Doom on TB is definitely doable. If they've got a number of ways to break it. Adaptive Strike, you don't really want to use Dragon Tail, but Adaptive Strike's probably the big one. Maybe Doom ends up trying to find some kind of item pickup for himself that can do it. But if they can break this Lincolns and Doom TB, fights will be, I would say, almost easy for them. But that's so far proven to be a very difficult ask to do.
Well, 4 heroes smoke up, and T1 looking for a target, but nobody to be found yet. And a Daedalus now done as well for Natsumi. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh, no. And that's the other big one. I mean, we're talking about how good the Doom is on Terraplay, but Mavis just got an Aghanim Scepter.
And catch Coddle top, but not the biggest deal. Yeah, it will help. The Ags maybe is a save, but, you know, I think just, especially if you Doom before the Metamorphosis, like, it's going to really negate his damage. And you can kind of Doom him, go for other targets, come back to the TV later. But easier said than done. And everyone in Polaris is, like you say earlier, about buffing him up. They had the Lotus Orb. They've got a Vlad's now coming out on the Legion Commander. Oh, this TB is getting the full 4 Protect 1 treatment.
And he is continuing to just accelerate further and further ahead. I mean, it's an 11k gold lead, and almost all of that is Natsumi. As Whitemon, he's found. How quickly does he go down here? Oh my God! That was very close to dead.
He's out. Calculate.
Yeah. One more crit, and I think it was going to be curtains for the guy.
Yep. I mean, T1 are just not playing as well as a team as Polaris. I think their best bet really is just going to be to try and drag this game out more and more. I think their draft is just going to naturally scale better, particularly when you look at the way Lelouch as well as Force are itemizing. They're not itemizing to be cores on this Pengo and Legion. Same time, TB, I think, just gets scarier and scarier because they're getting these items to buff them up. But, at some point, DK, Doom, and Morphling are all going to feel like strong late-game cores, whereas it's going to feel like Polaris have maybe 1, maybe 2 cores on their side.
Right. Well, and that's a question. Like, do you think that Polaris can end the game before that timing comes around?
That's a good question. I think they can force fights at Roshan. They can definitely, if they get next Aegis, I think they're in a really good spot. That's the key one, because it's possible they can basically go high ground with Aegis. Without it, you're exposing your TB, you're putting him on the front lines. He's going to get his Lincolns broken and then doomed, and potentially the fight just is lost right there. So I think everything as far as the next phase of this game is going to come down to how this Roshan fight, or just who picks up Roshan.
Okay. Well, that'll be something to watch for sure. They have double Lincolns now that keep on throwing on to Natsumi, and along with literally everything else in the game. So that's going to be one more thing that they have to deal with from the side of T1. Now, they did drop down this ward. This was checked out by Polaris earlier, and they were checking to see if there was a ward in the area. So they could set up for a fight here if things go their way.
It's always that false sense of security. Oh, yeah, there's no ward there.
Right. And jumps away. And they don't want to take this. Still a minute left until Roche is up. Zephyr throwing out the grasp. Breaks it one time. Oh, it's tough. They have Shivas as well now. I don't know. It looks like they're not going to get a free tier 2, but Polaris is still just holding this area so well. They have wards all over the spot.
Yeah, their idea is to, they don't care about that tier 2 tower as much as they care about just securing next Roshan and playing around this enemy Ancients, around this tier 2 top. If they can get the tier 2, it's great because it's one less place to TP for a Roche fight. Man,
oh my god.
Cuckoo got scared.
They put the Lincolns on the illusion, and that made him think it was real. Dude, the mind games.
That's cool.
That's sick. Oh, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because they've got multiple Lincolns now, and they've got the duel on Zephyr, so free pickoff, which, usually would be like, okay, just support, not a big deal, but Roshan's up in 2 seconds.
No.
So you need everything you've got. You need the overgrowth against TB in these team fights against the Rolling Thunder is a crucial tool, and they may lose more.
And Carl caught outside the base. This can't afford to happen. BKBs, and now is just going to TP out of there, but they don't have BKB on the Dragonite for this next fight if they want to go and force it now.
Yep.
And a DD rune spawns top to boot. Why not? Oh my god.
They deserve this DD. They're playing good Dota here. They're the ones dictating pace. You play good Dota, Gaben rewards you. That's what I'm learning here.
All right,
TB's not even using it for Roche. He's holding on for a fight.
That's crazy. They jump in there, almost able to get the stun, but he gets the Sakuchi away, so smoke is broken. They now know it's over here.
Yep.
Davis up on the high ground.
Oh, he commits the DD now, so he was trying to hold on to, I think, for a team fight, thinking they might have a free Roshan, but now he's like, okay, let's just play it safe. And T1 just giving this up. No BKB on Dragonite. Easy Roche.
That's crazy. All right. How do you deal with this now? I mean, they have to know this is coming, and I'm not sure what the answer is, because this is so tough here.
I agree. I don't think there's any obvious, okay, this is what we do. Maybe you're dooming the TB's first life and hoping for the best. That sounds like a kind of terrible idea. I just don't know how you kill him twice, let alone really once. You don't want to commit doom on him. He's going to have double Lincolns, so some kind of get to the backline smoke wraparound, but if anything, Polaris are going to be the one getting the jump. They're smoking in and looking to make their next move.
Oh, Carl, he shows right away the duel to start. Now the Rolling Thunder afterwards didn't stand a chance as the right clicks come on through from Natsumi, and Carl eventually going to die. Does have a buyback. Then they did use meta. Okay, breaking Lincoln's #1. Can they get any more afterwards? Jumps forward. Lincoln's broken #2, and they got him for the moment, but it's not going to be enough. They still have the Doom available. Lotus, Force Staff, pushing him forward. They throw out the Doom, and it's eventually going to be there. But that's just life #1. Can they do it? But the buybacks come out now, trying to bring him down, but they bring him back again with the Aghanim Scepter, hoping to kill off Natsumi, and they will burn through it, so no meta for round 2.
Yeah.
What can they do? Death Prophet dead and stunned, but the Force Staff keeps them fine and dandy, and they don't have another round of the Ags time lapse, but the jump forward, Cuckoo trying to bring down Natsumi, they get it off. The Sunder, now the walk forward, Force Staff in, trying to take him down. Carl is dead, 100 seconds. The duel afterwards on a Cuckoo, and Natsumi, he's just going to be able to run in and clean up without the Metamorphosis. They find Gabby as well. GG is called. What an unbelievably crisp series from Polaris.
Yeah, this, the way they play is exactly that. It's crisp, it's clean. They don't go for that, that old school chaotic SCA Dota. This just feels like a team that's very much all on the same page when it comes to their strategy about how to play their drafts. Like, not every draft is this super hardcore 4-protect-1s. There's games where they pick, initiating teamfight heroes for the offlane and play a different way. But every single game, you see this clear vision, you see this structure to how they're approaching games. And if you don't come prepared for them and you're not playing your A game, Polaris will beat you. Whether you're T1, Boom, whoever, this team has the potential for a lot of upsets. And they're not even going to be underdogs in many of their series because this team's the real deal.
Right, and this just again speaks to me of like the power of this region. Like Southeast Asia's been leveling up. We saw, at Gamers Galaxy just recently that Boom was able to take it. They obviously beat the region last time, and you're seeing newcomers rising on up as well. I feel like there's at any given day, almost anybody can take down anybody else, and like you said, it's oftentimes going to be that prep that separates the team that actually ends up taking it. Every series matters.
I hope NGX is listening to your pep talk. Anybody can beat anybody because they take on Boom next. Honestly, this is super impressed from Polaris and T1. They also look a bit out of sorts. Like this game, I think they thought they could just sit back and chill, not make any plays, and maybe out-farm them. So it just felt like from T1, we need to see something a bit more inspired and just to see more from them.
Absolutely. More from them is what we want to see, and we will throughout the course of this second tour, of course. But for now, at least, we're going to be heading on to a quick break. When we get back, panel's going to break down all the action. See you then.
Polaris looking absolutely spectacular, taking the series in a 2-0 fashion. And honestly, it might not be something that we expected, but luckily we do have two people that can help us break down that game and that series, Fear and Sheep. Describe Polaris to me right now, because all I got is they are looking so good, so clean.
On fire, baby!
They look really good. But I want to see them more, of course. They're looking good, but T1, yet again, is making them look, I feel like, better than what they are.
Okay.
Until proven otherwise. Like, T1 had in my opinion, they were looking good this game. Sure, TB was farmed at the top of the net worth, but he can't do it all by himself. Like, all three cores on T1 at this stage of the game right here were doing really well. They're in a great position for this game. Legion's not the best comeback type of hero. They're also down with their Pango. He's not having a great game either. But it's these fights here at the Roche pit, right? As you can see, they just kind of botch them a bit, and their coordination isn't there. And they end up losing the Aegis, and then they come back into the game just very slowly and methodically. And props to Polaris here for keeping it together and playing as a team. But T1 is losing their composure in these games and not closing out games when they are ahead.
Yeah, what would you have liked to see them do differently in this game to actually secure the win?
Just play together more, I think, in general. They seem very spread out. Their ideas don't seem like they're meshing with each other. And they're kind of just dying to these very obvious ganks that Polaris are doing. And they got them back in this game. And props to Polaris for, playing together as a team and coming back from behind.
Yeah, they did the complete opposite. Like you said, they were able to keep their composure. They knew that eventually if they played it slow enough and correctly, they are going to be able to get back into the game. But for you, Sheep, who was the standout on Polaris?
I actually was about to talk about how I like how they play as a team, so I don't want to use a standout player. But basically,
then I take that back. I will ask you a different question. Tell me about Polaris.
Oh my
Sheep.
gosh, thank you so much. What I was going to commend them on was I think they do a really good job of keeping of recognizing that Natsumi is their win condition. This is the same sort of style of draft they played against Enigma Galaxy and they were really successful with. If you watch this game, you saw DP trying to mess as much as he could with the Coddle, but they were using Xavius on Coddle to stack the triangle and stack camps for Natsumi to then farm. They had the synergy with Weaver. They brought him over to use bugs on the Ancient stack to help them be able to take it down, take it faster, maybe take it at earlier timing than it would be possible, or just to do it faster in general. They really accelerate Natsumi to a place where he can just farm and farm and farm and be able to carry them coming into the mid to late game. You know, maybe these fights are much harder, or they lose, or they get picked off or die because they haven't set him up for this type of game. They just make sure that he has a good time, and that is like what brings them to the point where they can win.
This game, I would say overall, a lot slower paced, right, than the first game that we saw. And why do you think that was the case for you?
Oh, I think this game just T1 didn't fall over like in the early laning phase, right? Like
they were stronger coming out of that laning phase.
Yeah, so they had a stronger early game, so the game was a bit more competitive, and so both teams are a little more stable for the early phases, and then it'll happen eventually. One team has to win and one team has to make a mistake, but it happened a lot later in this game than the first game.
Now, you say you want to see a little bit more from Polaris. How far do you think they're going to go? Where would you rank them right now if you were to do a power standings? I know we haven't seen everyone play yet.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time doing C, so I'm seeing a lot of new faces, which is, so I don't have the most accurate list right now, but obviously you want to see them play Boom. I think that's like the golden standard right now for C's. Like, depending on how well you do versus Boom, that's like kind of like your strength as a team right now. So if they keep winning versus everyone, then we'll just have to see how they do versus Boom whenever that match is.
I'm excited to see them play a little bit more, but I'm also excited to hear more from them as we are jumping into a winner's interview with Natsumi. Thank you so much for joining us, Natsumi. How are you feeling? How's the team?
We're feeling good and super excited.
Yeah.
And so hyped right now.
Does it feel extra special knowing that you took this series off of T1?
Yeah. I mean, it's T1, right? They are so very good team and one of the one of the contender in C. So we're happy to beat them.
What sort of preparation are you guys doing for this? Because you came in looking like you had a very clear game plan.
Our preparation is we just scream, but we're not screaming on the Division 1 teams. We are screaming against Chinese, so we can hide our heroes. Yeah.
Oh, in the you guys had like a matchup video, and I think it was Xavius was saying that you guys had a plan of like shutting down the supports in Cuckoo. Do you feel like you guys did that effectively in the games, or was it other stuff that kind of led to your victory?
In the game 1, I think, we shut down Cuckoo, but in game 2, I think we just got better heroes in game 2.
A bit of a draft diff.
Sure, I guess my question will be not really related to the game. It's like, after a nice series win, like, what do you like to do after, like, you're basking in the glory of winning? Like, what do you do for the rest of your night and day?
Maybe just play Dota. Just play rank match. Yeah.
The grind never stops. I also want to know that for you personally, what's sort of your main goal, or where do you think you see Polaris at the end of this tour?
I think we got a chance to go to major, like top 2 maybe.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith that you guys might end up there as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on taking the series from T1.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Go to the signature. It was nice. I like to see that little bit of confidence. I really do see Polaris a high contender. Even though people are saying T1's shaky, Polaris looked just so good.
I mean, I think
the
they
top
look great.
2 though.
I assume the other one's doing, right?
I mean, when we had GoDz on the panel, we talked about who we thought were going to come out on top of this season.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone thought Boom was going to come out number 1. I think that's like a fair and reasonable assumption. But after that, it was kind of like, okay, well, T1 probably top 3. Because we're talking about the major slots, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's kind of like, who knows? Because Fnatic seemed to be like a little bit shaky recently.
Not as clean, right? I guess it's not shaky. They're just not as clean.
I don't know. Their results are just not that great. I mean, they're okay. And SMG, obviously, they can also go like one way or the other. It's kind of like everyone you're unsure about. And Polaris, they're coming in. They're playing really clean Dota. Yeah. Maybe T1 aren't looking as hot as usual, but I feel like their consistency level for me over watching just 2 series is really like high and good. And that's something that excites me, you know. A team that can wish-wash like SMG, I'm like unsure of, but Polaris, I feel pretty confident. I think they can easily like match up now against these better teams. Like they can take a major slot. I do not doubt them at all.
I've felt this confidence already, you know, being on a panel with you, and that was with Puck Champ.
Puck Champ, I remember
you were so hyped about them, and they started having a couple bad days, and you're like, oh my gosh, no Puck Champ, I'm done with you.
Oh, way to be a hater.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
We're out here. We're all like building up the Div 2
Oh, that's
team.
what I do.
Yeah, he's the reality, you
Oh
know.
God, good for you,
Yeah,
Phil. Good
thanks.
for you.
Sure, whatever
He
you want to
doesn't
say.
even watch Seek.
Honestly, well,
I like to stay, not biased,
Not biased.
Yeah, very objective here.
Yeah, so maybe your opinion is a little bit better now.
He's just butthurt because he thought T1 was going to 2-0 this series. And he
I
was
said
wrong.
0-2. I meant 0-2.
He just got the numbers flipped, Dota player, not that good.
Yeah.
Flipped him. But look, you say you're not much of a C watcher, but there is going to be some more C action. We are coming with the third series of the day, second series of Div 1, and that is going to be the Boom Nigma game. And after this break, we do have some content pieces as well. John got to have a chat with a Boom player and a Enigma C Galaxy player as well, so stay tuned for that.